Good evening, guys. I'm waiting for Des. I'm so sorry. Good evening, guys. Welcome to In the North Bank, the big Sunday show. Hi, Des. Hi, Max. Hi, Brian. Hi, Richard. How are you feeling after yesterday's game? Des.
Oh, do I have to go? All right.
All right. Okay, let's go, Brian.
Brian. Go, Brian first. Go.
There was a game yesterday. It looked like nap time to me.
Do you know? I looked like a little kick around in the in the training ground.
Yeah, like I think nobody just wanted to get hurt. Everybody got orange slices. Everybody had a good time. You went to Pizza Hut after the game for pizza. It was a good time.
Is that it? That's what you got to say? Because I'd be like,
I mean, honestly, it was a game. Partey had a really good goal, but and Tierney had that goal that was chalked off. That was a great goal, but otherwise, everybody had their eyes on Wednesday. I've got my eyes on Wednesday. Okay, we got a point. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. And what's your take, Richard?
Considering the amount of changes we had, we got what we wanted, which is not to lose a game.
Do you think so? Do you really think that was the aim for it yesterday?
Try and win, but definitely don't lose.
I'll go on to something afterwards.
Come on, if he seriously wanted it, he'd have fielded a full-strength team. He knows, like everyone else, that the league's is not viable. So it's the Champions League final is what he wants.
Okay. What about you, Max? What was your take on it?
Look, for me, I think Mikel Arteta, for me, I think deep down he knows the league's gone, but I think in public appearances, I think he's coming out and saying "over my dead body." So it was, Arteta's words. So I think he'll push the team as hard as he can towards the end of the season when it comes down to the Premier League games. But I think his main focus, and I think the players' main focus, is obviously on Wednesday.
Yeah. And you, Des, now that you've had a bit of 2 minutes to think about it.
Thank you very much. Right, okay. Good evening, guys. Great to be on the show with you. Good evening to the chat. For me, the Premier League is gone now. It's gone. Last week I was saying we still had a chance, and now it's gone. A very, very flat game. There were things that happened in the game. I was sitting there, and you were at the game, Seema, but I was sitting there going, why? Why? I can understand the changes. I can understand he's got one eye on the Champions League. But how bad does it look on Arsenal, right? When you can beat Real Madrid 3-0, and yet you can't beat Brentford.
Yeah.
Don't look good on us, does it? It doesn't exactly warm us up for going into Wednesday. I mean, I'm trying not to be the voice of doom and gloom, but it's not a good. It's not good for going into Wednesday.
Yeah.
For me, there was only 3 high points of the game, maybe 4. And number 1 was Tierney scoring. Well, and then getting struck off, because I would have been very happy for Tierney, to be honest with you. Yeah. It would have been a goodbye gift as well. A good goodbye gift. And to be quite honest, regarding Tierney, I still want to keep him. I think he brings something to the team. I really do. But anyway, I digress. The second good point of the game was what a ball from Raya to get that run from Declan going, and what a goal from Partey. Can you believe Partey in all his years has only scored 9 goals for Arsenal?
Wow.
Yeah.
And all of them have been screamers.
Yeah, but that yesterday was something a bit special, I thought.
It was.
I don't know, that one he had a couple of years ago against Spurs. Oh, chef's kiss. Oh, that was beautiful. Where it curved 3 yards outside and was just bink. It was that one was amazing.
Can we have a bucket of water for Brian, please? He needs cooling off.
I'm saying I needed a cold shower after that one.
Yeah. But yeah, what a goal. And the fourth point was, even though he didn't score, was Saka on that. He should have made it 2-1.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's what I thought of the game. And I know we're going to cover a lot of other stuff, Seema, so away you go.
So it was all of 10 seconds from Raya to the goal. Can you imagine how fast, Rice was running with that ball? And Partey, who is I think 6 years older than Rice.
I didn't realise Partey could run so fast.
I know.
I really didn't.
The legs on that ball, it was just amazing. You know what it is? He's running around his kid a lot, so he's probably just learning that a lot.
It was right on his toe as well, wasn't it? Right on his toe.
It was a perfect execution, that perfect ball, inch perfect for him to just take it. Yeah, that was probably the only highlight I remember of the game. Otherwise, I felt as though it was a frustrating game. Do you reckon the fact that Thomas was there during the Real Madrid game to watch how we were playing, that he came with a game plan? So Arteta then had to switch it up. Because what the hell were we doing with these short corners? And how many of them were taking these bloody corners? I just don't get it.
We said it in the green room before, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had so many corner takers yesterday. It must have been confusing. Yeah.
I mean, what were we trying to do? Were we doing like a practice game, Richard, for Wednesday?
No, I mean, you have to change. You have to be inventive. You have to change it up, and you didn't have a Saka on the pitch. So on that side, they obviously decided those were the best ways of getting corners in. It was a little bit convoluted, but I mean, we have to take that note of that, and it makes our opponents think. I mean, at the end of the day, our problem was not getting shots on target. We had enough shots, but only 3 of those 14 shots were on target. That's not enough if you want to win a game.
Okay, what about you, Brian?
So, I want to respond to Des there. I don't think it doesn't set the right tone going into Wednesday. We rotated half our team, 3/4 of the team. We didn't care about the game. We didn't care about this game. Richard, I think you were saying, we were trying not to lose. I'm perfectly fine with the way we played yesterday. I don't know if Arteta's, trying to play secrets or anything like that, as far as, switching up with the corner routine. But at the end of the day, we've got Madrid on Wednesday. That's the most important thing to me,
Can I respond, Seema? Is that all right?
Go ahead.
I understand where you're coming from, Brian, right? But at the end of the day, if you'd have gone into Wednesday night and a win, beating Brentford, it's a different kind. Wait, let me finish, bro. Because if the wind blows, you're going to stay like that. You know what I mean? It's a different kind of energy, bro. It is an absolute different kind of energy, And I still feel on Wednesday night, just going to the Real Madrid game for a second like you did, we still need to score a goal on Wednesday night. 3-0 is not guaranteed, right? We still need to score a goal minimum, on Wednesday night, I believe. But apparently the little crazy Scotsman agrees with you, so that's fair enough. But
God, there's a bit of bromance going on there.
Yeah, well, there is.
There is. You got competition.
Yeah, but all I'm saying is it's a different kind of energy, and I would have liked to win yesterday, to be honest, because I just feel that we have put all our eggs in one basket now. Okay, if we'd have won yesterday, even though Liverpool were really lucky today, right? If we'd have won yesterday, the league is still available. Open. It's still open. That's the only reason why I'm saying what I'm saying, Brian. But again, you're right. But if you're happy with how they played yesterday, that's fine. I'm not saying I'm unhappy. I'm just saying I would have preferred a win.
Well, I mean, if we can't get up for a game at the Bernabéu, if we as a team can't do that, we don't deserve to get past Madrid. I mean, we probably won before the Madrid game, right? I don't even, what was it, the Fulham game that we had last week? That was before before last week's Madrid game.
Was it Everton? I thought it was Everton.
We drew against Everton.
Yeah.
We played away.
But there we go. We drew against Everton and we came in and we slapped up Madrid. Yeah, it was in our house, but I don't think that we took anything more away from the draw against Everton than we would take away from the draw against Brentford. Like, we came in there, we slapped Madrid around. We're going to get up for the game in the Bernabeu. I don't know, how it's going to go, but I don't think we really have to worry about the mindset there.
I just think it makes it easier if we'd have got a win yesterday, bro. And
Yeah,
go on, Richard. Go on.
yeah. I think poor finishing and one momentary lapse of concentration in defence meant we lost that game. It was looking at like a 1-0 right up until that thing, and that's a momentary lapse of concentration.
Totally.
Royce not closing down across them, and whoever was on the back post not defending the cross properly. So it's just fine margins that have cost us quite a lot this season.
And you, Max, what's your take?
Honestly, I think personally for me, I think I've said this before and I'll say it again. I think the league is well and truly done now, and obviously, unless obviously Mark just said, Liverpool needs 6 points to win the league, right? And I don't see them dropping every single game until the end of the season, unless obviously players get injured and barring obviously a miracle. But look, honestly, for me, like it all goes back to January for me, and not getting players in January when we had the chance to. And as Brian said, I think we got bigger fish to fry, and I think Wednesday's now the important game. So, and that's where I am with it, and I think the players know that's where we are with it, and obviously they're going to still try and go out and win, obviously because they're professionals, but at the same time, I think they know deep down. I think that's where their main focus is. So,
I mean, I think Paul's comment is good. Good evening, Paul. Thanks for joining us in the chat. The most optimistic of fans would have said game off for Premier League. This game was an awkward game, sandwiched in between two massive games. The biggest Champions League since Man United 2009. He's right. He is right. It is the biggest game. But all I'm saying is, right, end of the day, we are Arsenal Football Club. We should always try. We should be trying to win every bloody game. I know it's easier said than done, but we should be trying to win every game. Yeah. And to be quite honest, right, end of the day, I mean, yes, we will be up for it in the Bernabéu, Brian. We have to be. Otherwise, why turn up? It's but look, we haven't won the league this season. Going back to the league just for a second, yeah, we haven't won the league this season because of many factors. It's not just down to one factor; it's many factors. Yeah, it's injuries, it's this, it's that. We could list them. We've lost against teams that we shouldn't lose against. I'm going to recall something you said the other night, Seema, about the master plan. Yeah. And I questioned your master plan, right? Yeah. And again, I can only reiterate what I said. I questioned your master plan because I thought, well, we haven't had a master plan all season.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can have a master plan for one game, but surely we should have a master plan for the whole season for any situation.
He does have that master plan. The fact is that we don't see that plan because it's all behind the scenes.
And he won't talk about anything, will he?
He won't, because no manager will talk about that master plan. Come on. No. We can all see every other manager what they do. No one gives away their secrets. No one talks about, what they discuss. And right now, their discussions would have been, we can guess, and we can see it because it's coming out how they play on the pitch. They have conceded the Premier League, and they're going for the Champions League. Why? Because they've never won the Champions League.
Well, here's another fact I found out the other day. I think it's 4 games where in the Champions League, Richard, you can look this one up if you like, but I definitely heard this, right?
Yeah.
4 games in the Champions League where people have come back from a 3-0 deficit,
Yeah.
and none of them were Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Liverpool, Barcelona. I'm trying to think. Us
Was it
against
Liverpool the one where they came back from 5-0?
That's the one
Literally.
with that was what the Gerrard one.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
Istanbul. In Istanbul.
Can I?
Yeah.
I think
And that's not
I think us against Inter.
and let's not forget Liverpool against Barcelona when they were 3-0 down.
Yeah, and that was the other one as well. Yeah.
Right, Brian. I don't want to sound like you're. It's not that you're being negative. Yeah, when you say I was happy with yesterday, and it's just, as I say, we're Arsenal Football Club. Do you know what I mean? Do you mind if I just read these two comments from?
Yeah, please do.
From Paul. Sorry.
It might be Mark if he's.
Okay, can we block Sandy Pretty?
Hey, say again.
There's somebody on the chat that's just giving away their.
Oh, okay. 1 second. Oops. Oh, it was on Facebook, so I've done it.
Well, let me jump in real quick while we're doing all that blocking stuff. So, yes, it gets in there. I can't remember how it jibes with this, but I was watching a clip earlier today. So Robbie Mustoe, he's one of the commentator guys on the big Premier League, like post-game, pre-game show, everything like that.
Yeah.
And our favorite pundit, Gary Neville, was on NBC this week for whatever fucking reason, and Robbie Mustoe slapped him down. You know, because we were talking earlier about how the league is gone and everything like that, but there are people, like important people, I guess, that they see all the injury problems that we've had. And if we didn't, like, if we were Liverpool, like if we had kept all our players like we have, we'd be winning the league now. And I think a lot of people don't necessarily give us that credit that we deserve.
No, I mean, and we'll talk about players in a bit, Brian, to be honest with you, so we can expand on that point in a moment. Yeah,
I think that was a big take from yesterday. You knew Arteta was protecting players for Wednesday. We have a great chance, and yet I saw that piece with Gary Neville, and he said we've regressed. Technically, if there's two ways of looking at it. You can look at it as we've stagnated because we've stayed second for the third year running, or that we've regressed because we've got less points than the previous 2 years we finished second. So he can argue he's technically right, but that's semantics. But we are second with all these injuries, and I don't know if Ancelotti, Klopp, Guardiola, Slot, or anyone else, Hansi Flick, would have been able to keep us in second with the amount of injuries and suspensions we've had this season.
Very true, Richard. So get through Wednesday, and we have 2 games to secure Champions League and grip on second before we face presumably PSG. Well, it's looking that way, isn't it? It's looking like it's going to be PSG in the first leg of the semi-final. First leg of semi should we go through. These are Paul's messages, by the way, the governor. Yeah. So we've got 3 games. Any other season with that number of defeats would be classed as a very good season, by the way. Again, I agree with him.
It's the number of draws that's killed us, isn't it? Not the losses. It's because Liverpool have lost 2. So, but they've had less draws than us.
We're just going to talk about Mark's agenda for a second. How shite is Sterling that he could not get on the park when we had so many changes? That's true. I agree with that, actually. He's got one more. And then Seema, after this one, you can go carry on where you wanted to. Keep him, Brian. So that's aimed at Brian. Right, over to you, Seema.
I wanted to ask one of these questions, and obviously we talked a bit about it in the green room with about Odegaard and his performance basically on field. Do you guys reckon that because we never bought a striker and our other players are saying, hey, guess what? You don't need a striker because we can score the goals. Okay. He's been overshadowed because of that. He doesn't need to score the goals because everyone else around him is doing it. So he's just being the captain. Over to you, Max, because I know you really wanted to talk about Odegaard.
Yeah, so for me, like obviously, like I obviously said in the green room, right? I think personally for me, I think Odegaard's obviously not being great, but again, as I reiterate, but I'm gonna say it again. I think for me, he's looking like he's playing like he doesn't want to get injured. I don't think he's playing at his full capacity, and we can all see it, right? Because I don't, and for me, like he's been great for 2 years, right? And rightly so. He's been in a team of the season, right? And for me, like I just don't. I just think looks like he's got a lot on his mind, right? And he's trying to. And I think he's also trying to do too much. I think he's also trying to do too much. Like there's games where he looks like he's playing in the 10, and there's the games where he looks like he's playing in an 8, and there's games where he looks like he's playing in the 6, and there's games where he's doing all three, and because he's dropping so deep. And for me, like I love Odegaard, as you know, yeah, and I think for me, like he's just looks like he's holding a lot back, and he's trying to put the team first more than himself, and to the point where he's actually not doing what he's actually supposed to be doing, and he's not doing what he can be doing, and he's doing too much. And for me, like, Odegaard has not had the best of season. I'll be the first one to say that, right? But at the same time, he's not been the worst player on the pitch as well. Like there's been a couple of others, like I think names stand out. That's obviously not had a great season. For me, like I think for me, like he's in the Martinelli bracket of like not performing, and I just feel like I feel like for a lot of these players, right, especially Martinelli included, right, I think for a lot of these players, I feel like they're looking to next season where they can fully recover, rest up, because let's keep in mind, right, there's been Euros, there's been World Cups, and obviously, and I feel like a lot of the players are looking towards that, and a lot of players are looking to the end of the season and the Champions League potentially as well. Just as a basic refresh, and I think the difference between the Champions League and the Premier League, you can see it night and day, and for me, like I feel like on Odegaard in general, I feel like if he's being truthful with himself, I think he knows he's not had the greatest of seasons, and I feel like when Odegaard was good, right, we had two number 6s potentially and 2 box-to-box midfielders, right, where basically allowed him to go and press the ball and get higher up the pitch because he knows that, because when we had the likes of Granit Xhaka and the likes of Thomas Partey next to him, but during that season where he was good, right, he could basically focus on doing the number 10 role, but because the team's constantly changing, and the team's obviously had the injuries and been off form, I think he's trying to do too many roles, too many cooks to spoil the broth, and I feel like he's just being basically
he's not doing the roles because he wants to do the roles. He's been asked to do those roles because Arteta's had to switch people around, the players around, to play different roles because of the injuries. I mean, Marino was never up front, was he? He wasn't bought for that reason. So, Martin's had to switch in. It's not something that Martin wants to do.
And to be fair, he, Saka, and Ben White, like they're a three-headed monster. They are absolutely a three-headed monster. And for most of the season, you've had 2 of those people out at any one time.
Yeah.
And so you really can't judge, him just on this season. And like you said, maybe this is being a little pedantic or whatever like that. So I apologize in advance. But you said when Odegaard was good, he's still good. Like nobody, like he is still good. He just hasn't had all the tools that he needs around him. And football really, really is a team game. Yeah, you can have a Saka. Yeah, you can have a Salah. Yeah, you can have, a Lautaro Martinez, somebody like that can take the game by the scruff of the neck and create something out of nothing. But like the easiest way to score goals is to have your team be able to score the goals. I mean, we look back at all the great Arsenal goals that we've seen, and it's like a 20 pass buildup. Like I remember like that scorpion kick from Giroud. That was like a 15 pass move that went up there. And like the buildup is where you create those chances. You see what I'm saying?
No, I get that. One other thing I want to pick up on what Max has just said. The Premier League and the Champions League, what's the difference? Everybody from the Premier League will, gets, if they're the top 5 or 6, they play in the Champions League. Same thing for Europe. Same thing for the Bundesliga, for the, I can't even remember this, the Italian league or whatever. There's no difference. It's just the money is bigger. That's all it is. I mean, so every player that's playing in these leagues are all playing the same. So they're all getting tired. They're all getting injured. What's the difference?
Well, I think Odegaard is fatigued this season.
Do you reckon?
Oh yeah. I really do.
Well, he just had a kid.
No. Well, let me break it down for you, Brian, then you'll get a better picture. I know he's had a kid. I appreciate that. Why I'm saying he's fatigued is, right, he's had a major injury. I think he came back too early from said injury. That hasn't helped him. When I say fatigued, Brian, I mean mentally fatigued in the regard of his football at the moment. He's not thinking things through properly. Do you want to expand on it, Brian? Do you get where I'm coming from? When I say fatigued, you've automatically thought I meant tired fatigued. I mean mentally fatigued. There's that. For example, yesterday, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, right? Yesterday, he had 3 chances to shoot. Yeah, from what I could see, and he never shot once. 2 seasons ago, he would have shot. Yeah, 2 seasons ago, and last season as well, we were sharing the goals out. Yeah, the midfield was scoring goals, the up front was scoring goals, the defenders were scoring goals. Yeah, I mean, you look at Richard. I'm going to come at you with some stats. This will amaze you, mate. I'm not trying to take your job away, by the way. Right. So this season, Premier League, Arsenal have only scored 56 goals in the Premier League. Yeah, that's way below the standard we should be at, right? We have scored 28 goals in the Champions League. We have scored 11 goals in the League Cup and 1 goal in the FA Cup, right? So for me, Mac is making a good point about Odegaard. Yeah, it's a conversation that we need to have, and also I genuinely believe he's mentally fatigued. He's going for that little pass over the top to get someone in the 18-yard box, or he's doing that. He likes those little 1-2s, yeah. And like we said in the green room, Seema, him and Martinelli, as an example, are keeping the ball too long.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Okay. So that's genuinely my opinion on the fatigue thing, Brian, right? Okay. Too many people, and I'm speaking general, right? Too many people are getting on his case. Yeah. Just leave the boy alone.
Hi, Melina.
Hi, Melina.
Good evening. Okay. Can I just touch on one thing, what Brian said?
Of course you can.
And that is, I'm really sorry, but did Martin Odegaard have the baby, or was it his wife that had the baby?
I'll be fair, it does affect both parents. You can't.
Come on, seriously.
I've had kids, so have you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I can speak about it.
Well, all right.
I really don't understand how, I get it. They've all had the kids, okay? They're all our parents. They're probably hands-on parents, but don't tell me they don't have help.
No, of course, I get that, but
so I'm sorry when someone can tell me that because his wife's he's had the baby, he is fatigued over that.
I'm not. No, but that's no. I get you, but that's not the point I'm making. I mean, on the pitch, he is mentally fatigued. He really is. And I said it in the green room. I'm going to say it now. If he keeps going the way he's going, there's a good chance he could lose the captaincy. What do you think, Richard?
Yeah, I was going to say, Richard.
Well, he's got a lot of burden on his shoulders. We've got very little creative output on the left, so everything is coming down through that right hand side. He's lost for quite a few games. 10, 11 games he's lost that White Saka partnership, so he's had to build up a new partnerships to down that side, and that takes time and understanding. He takes too long. He overthinks things sometimes. That's a confidence thing, I think. He does need a captain. He's not a shouter and baller, and yes, he'll run himself into the ground. He'll chase things down, but he needs those captain's moments. He needs a Gerrard moment, a Royce moment from Tuesday. He just needs one of those in the remaining games we've got this season. Come back a Champions League semi-final or the next round next leg against Madrid to make sure we get to the semi-finals or to get us into the finals. He just needs them to produce those moments again. There's no doubt in his quality. It's just getting back to that form and confidence.
But don't you think, right, that the club actually have psychologists in place for them to be, worked on and talked to, and they talk back and and do that mental health, so they don't have that on the field?
They should do. I don't know if they actually do, but Wenger employed a sports psychologist to get us over the line when he came in, and it changed the way we, especially in that Invincible season he had one, and because you've got to think the step from competing to winning is a big step. It's not the easiest step there is. It's the hardest step to go from competing to winning.
Seema, I think Paul's trying to give me some advice here.
Yes, I think he is. Des, this is an issue with regards to the chemistry. With all the changes, it has been hard. I am not having it. I watch him all the time in person, and he is working on a clock 2 seconds faster than others.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that, Paul, because I tell you why I don't disagree with that. It's that thought process, isn't it? It's always trying to keep the ball moving. Always trying to keep the ball moving, yeah? And that's what Odegaard tries to do. He's even trying to keep the ball moving when he hasn't got the ball, because look at the way he presses, yeah? I'm not disagreeing with you, bro. All I'm saying is I think he's mentally fatigued this season. That's all I'm saying.
Can I also factor something in here, right?
Of course, yeah.
Because Des, you mentioned this a couple of shows ago, right? You mentioned this a couple of shows ago, and I'm going to pull you up on it, yeah? Because
please do. Go ahead.
Please, I'm going to absolutely destroy you, right? Because you said this, right? and now you're reverting back to something else, right? You said, and I quote, right? You said, and I quote, right? Because because we're discussing this very topic, right? You said, right, that he's not had Saka, Ben White for majority of the season,
which is true,
and that's going to affect his output, because with all due respect, he's now had to go. Now he's going to have to play with Timber and Ethan Nwaneri for most of the season, and they have been great. Don't get me wrong, right? But it's not Ben White and Saka, with all due respect. Because Ben White's doing the overlapping thing, right? And then Saka's obviously Saka, and he's now have to get used to two new partners.
Well, it's not just two.
And also the players have been injured. It's constantly getting injured, and he's had no striker in front of him. Because the problem for Arsenal, right? The problem with Arsenal, right? It's never been creating chances. It's been finishing. Because I guarantee you, if we had a confident striker in front of goal, right, he would have way more assists, and we wouldn't be talking about having a shit season.
Of course, I agree. I totally agree. you've come at me, and I've got to retaliate, mate. I'm sorry. I agree. I understand where you're coming from. What the point I'm trying to make is, though, right? He hasn't had Ben White, and he hasn't had Saka for a lot of the season, right? And even if you do chuck in Ethan and you do chuck in Timber,
And Martinelli and Sterling.
my voice changed. Then did you notice that? No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. No, the point I'm trying to make, mate, is this, right? You're right in what you're saying. Yeah, doesn't make me wrong, but you're right in what you're saying because Timber overlaps. Watch how Timber plays. Timber loves getting forward.
Yeah.
Timber overlaps. So he's doing what Ben White does, right? And then you've got Ethan, who is trying to do what Saka does. So in a way, he hasn't had to change that much, right? Yes, he's had to change because it's two different players, but he hasn't had to change that much, Max. Yeah. So you're right in what you're saying to the point of view from where you see it. I can't disagree with that, right? And I'm not going to try because that's not my thing, right? But I will say this. Similarities between Ben White and Timber, there's not many differences, to be quite honest with you. Okay? And similarities between Ethan and Saka, there's not many differences. You know what I mean? And to me, if Odegaard is as good a player as we think he is, I've just got to let Brian back in, sorry. If Odegaard is as good a player as we think he is, shouldn't he be able to adapt on the fly?
It's not necessarily him adapting. It's the fact that if you play a ball to White or Saka, he doesn't have to think about where that ball's going.
But
he has to think about where that ball's going with Timber and Ranieri because they might not be in the exact same position that Saka and White were.
Well, hang on.
It's not much, but it is a slight, and they might not make.
You're talking margins,
but it doesn't make a difference.
Well, guys, hang on. Sorry, I had to run outside to handle up on the Bubs. But we're talking about Odegaard, possibly losing the armband because he's not necessarily having the best season. Your captain doesn't need to be your best player. I mean, look at Koscielny. Yeah. Koscielny wasn't the best player on the team. He had the armband.
Right.
Jordan Henderson wasn't the best player, and he still had the captaincy.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Again, I agree with you guys, but listen to me now, right? I'm looking at it from a fan base point of view when I say you might lose the captaincy. There are so-called influencers. There are Arsenal fans saying Declan Rice should be captain. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're gonna say that, yeah, I want to say this to you. Fuck him.
No.
That was anger right there from Max.
I appreciate your anger, right? But end of the day, the big Sunday show is a talking show, is it not?
Yeah, it is indeed.
Yeah. End of the day, I can only tell you what I'm hearing or what I'm seeing or and vice versa. Yeah, you agree?
Yeah.
So, and I'm basically I'm doing it in a polite way of what you just said. Yeah, you told them to yeah, right. I'm doing it in a polite way, right? All I'm saying is, right, is this. I've noticed that people are talking about Odegaard in a way that they are saying that he should lose the captaincy. He should be given to Declan Rice, right? You automatically fared up because that's your reaction. That's cool. Yeah, I'm not against it, right? I'm glad that you've let off a bit of steam. All I'm saying is I'm making people aware that is the chatter, yeah? At the end of the day, I don't think Odegaard should lose the captaincy. I don't, right?
Yeah.
But it's the Arsenal fan base again. As soon as something doesn't feel right or there's a bit of negativity, Seema, Richard, all of you, right? Our fan base suddenly goes, well, we need a change and Declan Rice should be given the captaincy. Yeah? Not all our Max, with respect, mate, not all our fan base see the bigger picture. Yeah? Not all our fan base see the bigger picture. And I'm trying to keep controlled because at the end of the day, we are trying to get information out there for people to talk about throughout the week, and this will grow. You know, even though you're in Australia, right? Brian's in Washington, and us guys are in the UK. You know that the next week's chatter will be this, and this before Real Madrid, right? And that's why we do the show that we're doing because at the end of the day, we're reacting to what's going about. Yeah, doesn't mean I agree with it. Doesn't mean that you agree with it. We're just making people aware because not everybody might have the same outlets that we've got.
Des, Miss Melina makes a point here. Can I play devil's advocate here? What if Rice was promised future captaincy at the Arsenal by Arteta when we first signed him? We would not know, of course, but something to think about.
Yeah, exactly. And can I just say a big thank you to everybody in the chat? We've got BX Gunner, welcome. Obviously, Mark, but he never shuts up. So, Paul the boss. We've got Melina. Thank you. I believe you're a Liverpool fan, aren't you? Is Miss Melina a Liverpool fan?
That's
Arsenal fan. Arsenal fan.
This is an Arsenal fan.
Oh, right. All right. Sorry.
No, it was the last one we did. Hannah. It's Hannah who's the Liverpool fan.
Hannah, right? I've got mum. Sorry, Miss Melina. I'm glad you're an Arsenal fan. He could again. You make a good point. He could have been promised it. We don't know. And and the thing is, when it does become common knowledge, we'll all react again. You know,
that would be
more than likely it's going to be next season, right?
Like that would be terrible management though, because you already picked your captain, like your team has already gotten behind him, and yeah, people have known Declan Rice. Declan Rice is an all around great guy. The media knows it, everybody knows it. But what would that say to your captain that you already have if you said, "Oh well, hey, guess what? I'm taking the armband from you and I'm giving it to somebody." And of course he wouldn't say, "Yo, I promised it to Declan Rice" when he came on board. But to take the armband from somebody for no reason, like that's fucked up. I mean,
yeah, but Brian, sorry to interrupt, but they all have been given that program that they go on. Saka, Gabriel, Jorginho. Those three are already in the line for captaincy because they've got the armband within on games, but Rice hasn't.
Maybe Rice doesn't want it. Maybe Rice doesn't want it. Maybe he doesn't want it.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't want it. Maybe he wasn't promised it. But those three have been working towards becoming captains, and then obviously Odegaard is their role model for it.
Oh, and I think they would all be great captains. They've proven it where they have been when they've had the armband. Like, I'm just saying that it would be terrible management from Arteta if, without even going through that process, without even going through the leadership course, if he said, "Hey, I'm going to give it to you, after 2 seasons or something like that." So I don't think that's I don't think that's a thing. Miss Melina, totally understand, the point there. I don't think that's real though.
So let me ask a question, right? And this goes to all of you, right? Should you be given the captaincy or should you earn it?
You earn it.
Earn it.
You always earn it.
You earn it.
Always earn it.
You earn it, right? So, to me, Odegaard has earned it. Yeah?
Yeah.
To me, all right, everybody moans, "Oh, he's not loud enough. He doesn't shout. He blah, blah, blah." That's his style.
Yeah, but Des, like, it's not always about what's on the field. It's all about what goes off the field, because he's also coaching like the academy players off the field, and he's also because Arteta said in the press conference, that it's his manager on the field. So all the players respect him, right? Because he every single instruction that goes for set pieces, that goes for positioning on the pitch, he knows. Because he's been coached that way, right? And he's taking all the academy and going all the way down to the under 8, and he's coaching them.
Yeah. Okay, I get you. Have I said something, Max, that's really pissed you off tonight? I'm just checking. Have I said something that's pissed you off?
No, Des, BX Gunner has said, "I don't see Odegaard intimidating any of our rivals on the pitch. He doesn't make his presence felt for me." So
he doesn't have to. Like, not every captain has to be a fucking Roy Keane.
Exactly.
Because you know what the thing is. You know what the thing is, Des, right? Because a lot of players, right? A lot of people, Arsenal fans in general, all want Gabriel because he speaks, he does this, right? And another reason why people want Declan Rice as captain is because he was captain at West Ham.
Right, okay. Yeah, again, you make
what about Jesus? Jesus had to learn English before he became captain.
So
You know,
let me. Sorry, Brian. Can I just?
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
2 seconds, honestly, 2 seconds. Right. For me, right. Get this, Max. Right. If I have said something to piss you off tonight, I don't care. But for me, right. For me, yeah. There's captains in every part of the team. What? So let me explain. There'll be someone in the. So Gabriel, let's just say for argument's sake, Gabriel is the captain of that back four. Yeah. There'll be Jorginho when he's on the pitch is a backup captain to Odegaard. Even Declan Rice could be a backup captain to Odegaard. I don't know, right? But Odegaard is the main man for the whole team and everything else that you mentioned, right? But there'll be someone up front as well who hollers at people. Yeah. It could be Kai Havertz, right? Do you get where I'm coming from? Right. So people react to this because, like you just said, Gabriel's talking, right? Gabriel's talking. He's talking to the back four mainly, right? To make sure they're in the right position. Do you see where I'm coming from? Yeah.
Yeah, and Saka's talking to the front line.
Well, exactly.
And people want.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt in because I'm going to bring up
please do.
in the North Bank, Miss Melina. Yes, would never reply to Miss Melina. Yes, would never know, but it would have had to have been floated. Although I do not think Declan Rice is that ahead of himself to come to a club like AFC and demand that.
Yeah,
Odegaard has more than earned it. That's by Mark. And then again, Paul has replied, I think those days of needing a captain to intimidate other teams is out.
Oh, most definitely. The Roy Keane era is gone.
Yeah.
I mean, think about it like this, right? Like at the end of the day, you know, these players go to work. Like this is their job.
Yep.
And we all have to think to our jobs, right? We all respond better to a boss, to a leader, whatever, that is going to show us respect and is going to lead by example, right? We don't want somebody to get all in our ass. And if Odegaard is the kind of guy that can lead by example, you know, that can be the carrot instead of the stick, then that's the kind of captain you need.
I think Richard wants to come in.
I mean, ex-Gunner makes sorry, Richard, just ex-Gunner about Xhaka. Xhaka, until his incident, would have made a great captain, or was a great captain, whatever the case may be, because I can't remember, to be quite honest, I'm too old. Yeah. But yeah, what do you think, Richard, on this captaincy thing?
Well, as I said, he's got to, he needs to be doing more in terms of grabbing games by the scruff of them, big games as well. But because that's where this season he's let down. He hasn't come up and dragged us back into games when we've needed. The player that has done that is Saka, and he's done that for most of his time since he's broken into the first team. But you don't take it away from Odegaard next season because he's had one bad season. It has to be a thing that's been done over 2 or 3 seasons, and he's just not, because you need your captain to be on the pitch for nearly 90 minutes every game, and if he's not putting the performances in, and he should be substituted, he can't be captain.
But Mark, Richard, I would have to respectfully disagree, because I can think of 8 games this season where he's dragged us back in games. So, you know,
okay.
What are we doing?
Well, ideally, a captain doesn't really need to be scoring all the goals, right? He should be leading on the field, and the leading on the field is interacting with his own players.
I'm so glad you mentioned that. Yeah, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. Yeah, because that's the same stick that Saka gets beaten with. Because even like, yes, he scores and assists every game, but there's times in games where he basically goes missing, and he still mentions the score and assist, and everyone praises him, going, "Oh, well done, he scored an assist, well done," right? And there's also games where basically he doesn't get a score or assist, but he basically is influential in the game. Like,
Okay, on a lighter note, Paul, if you walk to the airport, you'll be there by Wednesday. So shut up, okay? Making us jealous that he's on the plane to bloody Spain. Walk. You'll make it there.
Catch your ferry.
Can I just say, right? I'm loving Max's passion tonight, right?
I know, I'm loving
looks
it too.
He looks like he wants to punch someone, right? And
Des, you told me you wanted more passion. I'm giving you more passion.
no, it's cool, bro. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I ain't got a problem with it. I'm just like, you look like you want to punch someone, but it's cool. But isn't it also, right? And it devil's advocate here, maybe, yeah. Isn't it also down to the player to grab the game by the scruff of the neck? It's an individual thing. So on Wednesday night, you could say Declan Rice with his 2 free kicks grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck, but you and
also Des, he went against what his coach is telling him. The coach is saying pass it across, but he felt going around the wall, so he didn't listen. He went with his gut.
No, sometimes you have to go. I'm going to be blunt, right? Sometimes you have to go. Thanks, but Nicola, the set piece. Shut up a second. I'm thinking. Mourinho grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck on Wednesday, because that goal is getting overshadowed by the 2 free kicks. That was an amazing goal, right? When you step on that pitch with this top on, or Seema's top on, or if anybody else has got an Arsenal top on, when you step on that pitch, you've got to look for your opportunity to grab that game by the scruff of the neck. Lewis Skelly, a couple of games ago, what a run he made, and he scored. Grabbed the game by the scruff of the neck. Yeah,
he did in that game. He did on
Go on, Rich. Go on.
On Tuesday for 30 minutes. He made Madrid change the way they were playing, which then allowed Partey to come in and take control of the midfield. Against Rodrigo,
we don't need Mark anymore on here, okay? Thanks a lot. Thank you.
But we're getting.
You see that, Des? You don't need it, Mark, on the show now. I've taken the role apparently.
Yeah, but that means you and I need to have a bromance, Max.
But Max,
hold on, Richard hasn't finished. Let Richard finish.
Sorry, Richard.
And I think Skelly has. He's taken quite a few games by the scruff of the neck.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, bro. I agree.
Just going back to the Mark thing, Max can't take Mark's role. He's too tall.
Mark, don't let that go, mate.
Richard doesn't even have to think about it. It is just right there, isn't it?
And Mark and Richard, I don't have a pair of glasses either. So
well, that could be.
You can buy the fake ones, can't you?
But y'all, like we're getting too caught up on this whole take the game by the scruff of the neck thing, because again, you don't need your captain to be the best player on the pitch. What you need is your captain to be able to motivate the people like around you. So like if Odegaard is able to motivate Saka, to motivate, Declan Rice, to motivate MLS, something like that, like he doesn't need to do that himself. Like if you have getting back to what we were talking about earlier, where Odegaard seems like he's overthinking stuff. If he feels that to excel in the captain's role, that he needs to take the game by the scruff of the neck, then that's going to hurt him both performance-wise and captaincy-wise.
But also, bro, I mean, I get the point you're making, right? But end of the day, your captain is there to talk to the ref, calm things down. Your captain is there to do everything that all the other players can't do, really. It's a multiple tasking job. It's not just, I'm a captain, I've got to put the right ball through. I'm a captain, I've got to. There's so much more that goes into it. I mean,
no, and that's the point. That's the point that I'm making.
I know, and I get that, and that's why I've agreed with you. Yeah.
But sometimes when your back's against the walls, when the chips are down, you need your leader, your captain, to get his socks roll up his sleeves, get himself dirty, and dig in with the rest of you, muck in and get you through it. Help get you through it.
I don't care if the chat comes at me here, right? I really don't, right? Because end of the day, I can take them all on. I don't give a monkeys, right? But let me say this to you guys, right? We're always on about, oh, if we had a striker, yeah, if we had a striker since January. Well, let me put my 2 pence worth in. By the way, we're doing a better show without Mark, so you know. But this is, I mean, the quality of the show tonight is amazing. So
yeah, and Brian's not wearing his glasses.
Exactly. So he must feel quite chilled. But the point I'm going to make is this: if we had an Isak or a Gyökeres or a Šeško, because me and Richard have been doing deep dives on these players this week, right?
Yeah.
So if we had as I say, a Gyökeres, an Isak, or a Šeško, right? Odegaard would look a better player because those three players love a through ball. And Odegaard loves to play a through ball.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we might have got more goals. Well, we probably would have got more goals, right? We wouldn't have had such a hard time without Saka being on the pitch, right?
Yeah.
And Odegaard would have looked a better player because he would have got 10% more assists. All right. As a rough number. Do you agree, Richard, after what we've done this week?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the number of chances he actually creates and doesn't end in a goal, that's because we're not efficient in front of goal, which has been a problem for even in Wenger's time. If you get somebody who's more efficient in front of goal, he's going to look better, isn't he?
Yeah.
But you see the thing with Martin Odegaard, yeah. Like I feel like there's some games where he's playing at 3 or 4 seconds ahead of everybody else, and because he's got the likes of Saka and all that kind of stuff, he can play that pass. That's why everything goes down the right hand side. And with all due respect, East is not Saka, right? He doesn't have that technical nuance yet, right? Because he's still young, right? And if we have more intelligent players like him, like a striker that basically creates space, he's going to have more space to create, because right now he's having no space to create anything. He's basically being jam-packed the entire thing and asked to do 3 or 4 roles.
But we don't get space because our defensive line height is so high. It's just over the halfway line, our average line height, and our opponents is so deep. Our average line height of our opponent we face is 38 meters.
Yeah, but Richard, that's exactly my point, though. Like, because we don't have a focal point, right? When we had Jesus, right? This is how we deep it, right? When we had Jesus up front, right? He was creating space and basically opening the game up, so Odegaard had more space to create into, right? We had Saka that was having the game of his life, where basically he was running up and down the ring when he had Ben White touching on it, right? And we had Martinelli that was, because everyone was going Saka side, Martinelli had all the space to run into it, and he was having the freedom of the Great Wall of China.
But hold on, Max, right? Max, chill for a second, right? Because I swear something's going to pop off you in a minute, right? Yeah. You just said Isak. You said something about Isak. There's no comparison with Isak.
That's what I was literally going to say. You cannot compare Isak with Saka. No chance.
No, you can't.
No, but I'm not talking about Isak. I'm talking about a striker. Like, even if it's Šeško, I'm talking about it's Isak. I'm talking if it's Lautaro and Martinez. I'm talking about if it's Gyökeres. I'm talking about any striker, right? Mm-hmm. If he's going into that space, he's going to instantly draw the centre backs away from like Odegaard, because he's going to be a threat. With all due respect, Marino and Havertz is not a threat. With all due respect, right? Havertz is a threat. Havertz is.
Paul thinks you're going to cry in a minute.
I thought that rain on the side of his head's going to pop.
Mark is so salty.
Yeah, he is.
He's so salty tonight.
Is there a hanky for Mark in the house, please?
Tell him to calm down. I'll send him this T-shirt so he can.
Mark, you need to
FaceTime Seema with it.
What?
I said, tell Mark to calm down. I'll send him the T-shirt I'm wearing so that he can FaceTime you, Seema.
No, but
Because
Matt,
back to my point, yeah. Because when Havertz is in the box, right, he's a threat. But when we get, because as I said to you on I can't remember which show it was, a few shows ago, right? Our main problem is our main problem is the final end product. It's never been the final third. We've always get to the final third. It's the end product that gets us there, right? And Havertz has always been a plan B. He's never been a plan A. That's the problem. We've always needed a plan A, something different from Havertz, because when it's not working with Havertz, we have nothing to bring on. Because Jason, I mean, like, in fact, I'm telling you.
bro,
I'd say it's more of a chance.
I'm going to go back to my point, right? And I'm being absolutely honest with you. You cannot compare Saka with a striker. You can't. Different game, mate. Different ball. End of the day, right? What is Odegaard's thing? Would you say he's more a goal scorer or more an assist? What would you say, Max? I'm asking you straight up.
Assister.
He's an assister. So you've just contradicted yourself in what you've just said. Because
but he's also been he's also been scoring goals for the first season. So where's it gone?
Yeah, but that's not his primary role.
No, that's form, mate. That is form, mate. And like Brian says, and Brian, please lose your temper, because end of the day we need some counterbalance here, right? Okay, but that's the point, bro. Like Brian's just about to say, and I'm going to let him carry on. That's not his key role. His key role is to make goals, assists. Genuinely. Yeah. Yes, he can score. That's another string to his bow. I'm not disagreeing with you. He can do that. But you even said it. And in a way, you've contradicted yourself, because main skill of Odegaard is assisting, making goals. Honestly, bro. Honest. Brian, carry on, mate. Sorry, I didn't mean to go over the top of you. I didn't.
And not even get the assist necessarily. Like a lot of times he'll do the pass before the assist. You know, yeah, he can occasionally score goals, but that's not why we signed him. Like, we signed him to be a creator. It's like I say all the time, you know, numbers don't lie, but stats can. So what that Odegaard hasn't gotten 50 bajillion assists this year? That's not necessarily his fault. Like, if we don't have anybody that could put the ball in the back of the net, you know, in the final third, then that's not on him. Like, that's not on him at all. And we can't shit on Odegaard because he's not getting those stats. He's doing what he needs to do. He is doing the best that he can.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a bit eight.
Max, I love your passion. I truly love your passion.
Oh,
right? I'm glad you bring it to the show. I'm so glad you bring it to the show. But
okay.
Yeah.
Shall we move? Let's move on.
Let's
move on. Okay. So Arteta's backroom staff have all been given new contracts. And I think it's well deserved.
Are you on about Win the Dog?
Ha ha ha. Well, he could have got a new contract too, you know. But yeah, what do you think, Richard? Let's bring Richard in, and no one line.
Yeah, I mean, it's well deserved. They've got us to this point. They need to get us to the next step.
Yeah.
But
do you think we should have waited then for this Champions League thing to be over with, and then?
No, because this season we haven't been given the tools, and you can put a bit of blame on Arteta because he's part of that process, but the majority of that process is on the transfer team and the board. Until he gets a top that forward line sorted out, you can't say it's all Arteta's fault.
Yeah, true.
So give them what they need next season, and if they can't do it, then you looking at can we do better? Can we get the guy that can get us over the line?
Well, I think listening to the rumours, it seems like, you know, they are going to have a spending spree in the summer. So,
Seema, isn't this part of the process though? Isn't this part of the five-year
plan?
Yeah,
it is.
So he's keeping his word. He's keeping his word on this 5-year plan. Am I right in saying Saka signed something as well, or is about to sign something?
Yeah,
or?
apparently so. I mean, Max brought it up, didn't he? That Saka's signing his new contract. Is that
Yeah.
is that right, Max?
Yeah, so obviously Saka's close to signing his new contract, and along with Gabriel and Saliba. So which is good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're also working on Lewis Skelly and Renner.
Yeah.
So we're starting to go back through those that have got two and a bit years left on their contracts.
Okay.
And I'd argue those three players that I've just mentioned are probably our spine for the next couple of years. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you invest in the youth, don't you? That's what you do.
Yeah.
You keep your old
So,
guard.
so if you look at that, Saliba, Gabriel, Declan Rice, and Saka are our main four players essentially,
Yeah.
and Mark Odegaard, if you can add to that equation.
So, let me ask you can I ask a question, Seema? Do you mind?
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
The current Arsenal team, who's it built around? In your opinion, who's it built around? And anyone
Saka
can
probably.
answer. It's not just aimed at Max. Anyone can answer. Who is the current?
Saka probably.
So
Saka probably.
You're going Saka, Max. Yeah?
I don't know that it's actually built around anyone. And let me kind of
expand. If you have to expand, man.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think that it's built around anyone because yes, while most of our attacks do come down the right side with Saka needs that three. He needs Ben White, he needs Odegaard, he needs himself. So you need that group, and if Saka's not performing or whatever, then we shift over to the left, and we do have Martinelli, who, right, wrong, or indifferent, he may take that extra touch or whatever like that, try and play the TV football that somebody was talking about last week, but we can run through him. We don't build the team around Odegaard. We haven't built the team around Declan Rice. I'm not going to say we don't have a superstar because Saka is a superstar. Like he's world class, and anybody that says he isn't is a fucking idiot.
Could you lose your temper, Brian? Could you lose your temper, Brian, if someone said he wasn't?
Oh, 100%. Fuck him. Like Max said, fuck him. But I think that we have a good enough team where we don't have to. Exactly. Well, I would.
Romance again.
I wouldn't necessarily say that every player is world class on our team, because if you drill down into it, not every player we have is starting for their national team. So they really can't be world class per se. But we have
that's a whole argument.
I wouldn't have people playing for their national team anyway, Brian. Not in friendlies as a minimum.
Oh no, 100%. But the point I'm making is that we have quality all over the pitch, and so we don't need to get focused in one direction. And if you build a team around one player, then you are getting focused in that direction. And at the end of the day, eventually it's going to be a lot easier to shut that team down because they don't have anywhere else to go with it. They're always going to go through that player that they've built the team around.
Richard, what's your thought on it, mate? By the way, before you go, Richard, this is a double question because I'm going to come at with another one in a second, okay?
And we ban Mark.
Yeah,
I am not taking a shit in my kitchen. God damn it.
I didn't mean to show that one. I meant to show this one.
Brian, to be fair, everybody wants to shit in your kitchen. It's a great kitchen.
It is a nice kitchen.
Right. We're digressing here, guys. Richard, please.
Yeah, it's built around a false nine. It's not built around any particular player. It's that nine role and how we feed that and how we play with that and that. But it's not built around the system. The world class debate is so subjective. It's what you class as world class. I think it's thrown around too easily. I think you have to you have to win a World Cup, you have to win a Euros or an African Nations. You then have to win the league in the country you're playing, cup in your and the elite competitions that your country gets put in. But
then,
as I said, it's such a subjective.
But then that would make the U.S. national team world class, and would not make the English national team world class.
Sorry, where did that come
Have
from?
they won the World Cup?
You won the World Cup like 60 years ago, and y'all are still on that shit.
And on that point, yeah, that would make Verstappen world class because he's won the World Cup.
Wait, Verstappen?
Yeah.
Etc.
Don't even get me started on F1. Don't even get me started.
No. You said Verstappen. Who did you say?
F1's fucking crap.
Yeah, because Verstappen won the World Cup.
Mustafi.
Oh, you said Mustafi. You didn't say. Oh, I thought you said Verstappen.
So did Ozil, and Ozil won the Euros, but he didn't win the Premier League, and he didn't win a Champions League, did he? They have to win all of them.
Yeah, but we call Saka world class.
He's one of the best 5 in the world.
Yeah, but he's not won anything.
Yeah, as I said, you
won our hearts, Seema. He's won our hearts.
Yeah. God, yeah.
I mean, as I said, it's subjective because.
But
I think it's thrown around too easily. The word world class.
Richard, tell him where you're from.
Me? Can't you see all the flames? I'm from hell.
Seema, what do you think? Is this team built around, and then I'll ask my second part of this question, is this team built around one player, or do you agree with the chat saying it's, a collection?
No, I don't think it's, originally I did say Saka, but I actually don't think it's built around one player. I think it's the whole team. I think he's diversifying the team, where they can play different positions if and when an injury comes. Ideally, it did start off with him having an A team and a B team. So basically, they were mirroring each other as opposed to being an A team and a B team. But that fell apart when he got all the injuries. So,
well, okay, I would have to respectfully disagree because if it was about the collective.
Is there any point in the show that you've agreed with anybody?
No. Right.
Well, hold on a minute, Max. Before you go on, right? Because Seema said it, you're respectfully disagreeing.
Yeah, he just disagrees with everyone else.
20 minutes ago, you wanted to punch me in the face.
He come from the screen.
You were coming for me, bro.
Nicer than all of us. Seema's nicer than all of us.
On that, yeah, because you say, because a lot of the chat is saying it's about the collective, right? But if it's truly about the collective, then we wouldn't be worried about Saliba and Saka and Gabriel and Rice leaving 3 or 4 seasons in the future, because it would be about the collective. Because they're getting tied down to new contracts now, right? Because they're now potentially being targeted by new contracts, because Saliba's being targeted by Real Madrid, Gabriel's been targeted by the Saudi, Saka's potentially going to get targeted by.
Max, those are just rumors. Rumors start for a reason. Right. They probably come for their bloody managers to create the hype so they can get a bigger and better contract.
Tell him, sister. Tell him.
So if you look at the logic behind it, all right, have a look, right? You've got the most three of these players, right? They have been playing their fucking socks off. Who do you think I'm talking about? Salah, Van Dijk, and Trent, right? They played their socks off. Now, Trent sat out because he's buggered off to Real Madrid. But those two, they played their socks off to get those fucking contracts. And guess what happened? They got them. Guaranteed, right? They're going to fall off the ledge.
Yeah.
Van Dijk's overrated anyway.
Can I ask my second part of this question, please?
There's a part two.
Is that okay? Okay. By the way, I'm world class. I just thought I'd throw that in there. Okay. No, the second part of this question.
I haven't seen you play yet, mate.
Got nothing to do with me playing, mate.
Des, before you ask that question, quickly before you ask that question, right? Because I'm gonna have to pull Richard back up on this point, right? Because
Max has had numbers, everybody. Max has had numbers. Go ahead, Max.
because for me, right, and this is how I've always dignified world class because for me, right, it's not so much about the trophies, it's about the performance, right? Okay. Now, trophies is a main part of it, right? But it's more about the performances, right? So for me, Saka, Gabriel, Saliba, and Declan Rice are world class, and the reason that they're world class is because they've been consistent for more than 3 years, right? They've shown up at the highest level. They pulled games out by the scruff of the neck, all three of them, right? Yeah, and obviously Declan Rice has obviously won a Europa League on top, a Conference League on top of that, right? Yeah. They performed at the highest stages in terms of like playing for their team, for their national teams, and they've dragged games out by the scruff of neck for those teams in particular, right? And you know sure they have obviously sure England's not won a World Cup and sure we haven't won Champions League or Premier League, right? But those things will come, right? And that's why when and also you know that, and also for me another criteria for being world class is that they're top 5 in their position. So easily Gabriel's top 5 in his position. Saliba's equally top 5 in his position. Declan Rice is easily top 5, and Saka's easily in the top 5. I'd argue that Saka is the second best winger in the world behind Salah.
No, Max. No.
Well, you've upset Seema now, Max. You're
somebody like Gabriel and Saliba, you know why they're world class, right? Because they put the likes of Haaland in their back pocket.
Yeah, they know how to control players. They control players
on the map.
So, as I said, it's subjective. It's not objective. Because
Richard,
you can ask 10 people what they think world class is, and they will give you different definitions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. I'm just saying my opinion of what is world class is that, and I think word world class gets thrown around too easily. It's a bit like
it does.
Movie stars, they're given accolades and bits, and they're a superstar. We go overboard too quickly. And
yeah, as Arsenal fans, we do overreact. I would agree with you. Yeah. We overreact too quick.
And it's the same the other way as well. Opposition fans are hypercritical. So, but it doesn't mean that they're not. It just means, for me, I think you have to reach a certain criteria for that.
Thank you very much for that, Richard. So I'm not scared to ask this second part to my question, right? So, second part to this question, you all have decided. Well, I don't know if Max actually did decide. It might still be with Saka, but I think the rest of you decided that it's not built around one player. Yeah, I'm right in saying that. Yeah, Max, did you stick with Saka, or are you agreeing with the guys?
Yeah, I'd agree with saying that Saka and those 3 other players that I've just mentioned about in the world class category is what it's built around, because they wouldn't be signing new contracts if it wasn't built around the team, around them.
Here's my second part of the question, right? We get a new striker, right? Whether it's Gyökeres, Isaac, who was the other choice? I've forgotten off the top of my head. Sesko. Right? I don't care if it's Brian. I don't care if it's Brian who plays for the Sunday League. Do you know what I mean? We get a new striker.
Yeah.
I play goalie anyway. I'm not playing
sunglasses too much.
Say again, Brian. Go on. What do you say?
No, I play goalie anyway. I don't like to run.
Okay, so we get a new striker. Is Arteta going to build the team in the future around that striker, or do you think we will still have the same mentality, same playing style, or will he just keep things the same, or will he build the team around that striker?
Depends on the striker.
Seema, let's go with you first. Let's go with you first. What do you think?
I don't think so. I think having a striker would be a bonus.
Right. Okay.
Because we know that everyone around that striker can score a goal too.
Good. Okay. This is what I want to hear. This is how you feel about it.
Yeah. Plain and simple.
Sorry, Seema, how'd you finish? Sorry.
Yeah, no, that was it. Plain and simple.
Richard, I want you to go next.
I don't think it'll be about building it, but adapting to what that striker's strengths are.
it's a
And
very
mate,
fine line
so
building- it's a very fine line between building and adapting, though, isn't it?
but
Yeah.
if you're building, you're buying specific players to bring the best out of. We've already got pretty much the best. What Arteta feels is the best players in positions he wants. Getting that striker, it'll be how do we get the best out of that striker with what we've got?
Okay.
It would be like buying a KDB and a Rodri, and then building it. They didn't buy Haaland to build a team around.
To build a team around him, yeah.
They bought Haaland to
Yeah,
make
but
a difference.
don't you think it's just put everything, all the hard work that's gone on for the last 4 years, then just to waste? If we're going to start building a team around a striker.
Well, yeah.
I didn't say we
why
were.
I
building.
asked the question, but
Yeah,
what you're saying, mates. Brian,
Yeah.
give us your thoughts. Mate.
That Richard said exactly what I was going to say, and I'll expand upon it a little bit more. You know, look at City. Like once they got Haaland, they've really kind of fallen off. You know, because they've tried to route everything through Haaland because that's who they have. You know, so yeah, I think Arteta, you know, he's very much a student of Pep. You know, whatever you may think of Pep, whatever you may think of his tactics, whatever like that, you know, Arteta has the mindset that he is going to have all the pieces work together, you know, and so is he going to get a striker and try and, you know, stuff him in there? No, he's going to get a striker that works. He's going to get the right player, not just a player.
So you're saying Arsenal is a jigsaw puzzle?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, get ready, guys. It's the Australian blooming rage. Australian rage.
Tasmanian devil.
Go on. What do you think?
Look, for me, it depends on the striker. Depends on the player, right? Because if you get a player like Haaland, right, it's not going to be so much. It's not going to be so much about the team. It's going to be about the striker. Now, if you get a player that links up with the team and does a bit of what Jesus does, but also scores goals, right? Then obviously it's still going to be about the team. That's how I see it. That's what touching on what Brian was saying, and that's where I am with it, to be honest.
Okay, cool. Seema, it's over back to you if you want to bring anything up.
No, I don't. If we're done with that question, I want to just go through something that we all decided in the last podcast.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, go ahead.
Is everyone done? Anyone else on? Except for
No.
Mark. You're not having to say. But, okay. The score for Brentford.
Mm-hmm.
So who was the one that was closest to it? Anyone?
Maybe me, because I said 2-0.
No one got anywhere near it. Yeah, Des, you said 2-0. Danielle said 2-1. Mark said 2-1. Aisha said 2-0. I said 3-0.
I said 1-0. I said 1-0.
Did you put it in the chat? Because I didn't write it down. Well,
I said 1-0.
none of us even put a draw.
No,
I didn't have any score, so I feel like I won by default.
Going on the Brentford previous history of playing Arsenal, I didn't see it as a draw. I didn't.
No one did.
No.
Okay, what's this? I'm ready for a new manager, a new striker, and a new shirt sponsor.
This is
Really?
This is BX Gunner. He's
Yeah. Fanatical?
That's a word. That is a word.
I don't know BX Gunner.
No, BX Gunner. I know
I
BX.
apologize if you take that in a different way.
I know BX Gunner. BX Gunner had a bit of a falling out with Mark a couple of weeks ago, and Mark had a bit of a falling out with BX.
It doesn't fall out with Mark.
Well, it's not hard, is it? Let's be honest.
Exactly.
So
Chuck him in a room full of Irishmen, he'd be fine.
Mark claiming that he got closest to the win. Oh, God.
No, he didn't.
That's only because he's short.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay, I saw a video today, a video by Mark Goldbridge. We all know who he is, right?
Yeah.
And he said, watch out, everybody, because he reckons there's something going on with the Champions League, and they don't want anyone who's not playing in the Super League to win. the Champions League. In other words, they don't want Barcelona, they don't want Arsenal, I think they don't want Villa. So he named 3 or 4 teams.
They don't want Real Madrid because they were part of the Super League too.
But hold on a
They
minute.
want Real Madrid.
No disrespect to Mark Goldbridge, because he's passing on something that he's heard, whatever. So I'm not slating Mark Goldbridge here. This is against the Champions League organisers.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't want Real Madrid.
Yeah. No, you want Real Madrid. You don't want Barcelona.
You don't want Barcelona. You don't want Arsenal, right?
Yeah.
If we just take them 3 teams as an example.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Last time I looked, they're all still at the moment in the competition. So let's say Arsenal and Barcelona get to the final. You're not going to have your final.
Do you know what he's saying? I think indirectly he's saying, watch out for the ref on the Wednesday game.
Oh, right.
You know, there's going to be some.
You have to watch out for a referee regardless. Because you've got to manage the game regardless of the game's sake. You can't rely on the ref to do you any favours. We know that.
But why would they want?
We have to go out and win the game. We have to go out and win the game and not depend on the ref whatsoever.
Yeah, we can't be passive.
But like, why would they want somebody that's in the Super League to win the Champions League? Like you would think it'd be more of a middle finger.
But hold on a minute. No one's in the Super League. It's not even.
Is it what's the competition that's going on?
The World Club Cup?
No. It is the Super Cup, right, or something?
No. It's a Super League.
European Super.
Right, because I think Juve is still signed on to it. I think Madrid is still signed on to it. Like there's 3 clubs, and I can't remember what.
Inter Milan still signed on it.
But that's the thing.
How about Bayern? Are they still signed?
I don't think Bayern ever was.
Yeah, Bayern are in part of it, aren't they? Yeah,
I'm not sure. They were.
But either way, like the question is why they would want somebody that's part of whatever this is, assuming that it's a competition.
Because the prize fund is so big.
Right. But like, what benefit would UEFA have to having somebody that was part of the Super League win the Champions League? That doesn't make any sense.
Don't know.
Are we? Because Mark says it's a Super Cup.
Mark Goldbridge doesn't talk jack shit, unless, of course, someone AI generated.
No. Mark, if Mark Goldbridge is putting it out there must be something to it. But
yeah. Well, it's probably so they can bring those teams back into the fold, isn't it?
Richard, it's not on his podcast. It's someone else putting it.
It's not,
when you repost something, or they put it on their chat, on their TikTok. That's what I'm saying. Is it AI generated? But I think when you do AI generated, you're meant to put it at the bottom, isn't it? It's
even
AI
if it's AI generated, Mark Goldbridge would have come out by now and said that wasn't me. So Mark is saying it's the Super Cup. So I was confusing it with the Super League that we were supposed to be part of.
No, it's the Super Cup. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, that's just to me, it's like a kid spitting its dummy out.
Yeah.
But UEFA has always been quite an insular.
There's no one better than UEFA
organisation. But like mainland continental Europe is a very insular place, so they are going to want certain teams to do better than others, but that's the way it's always been, and it won't change, and that's why we've got it is the elite of the elite, and they keep wanting to keep that money circulating around those top clubs. The Super League was Barcelona and Real and all the other European teams wanting to get a bigger slice of that pie.
How did Tottenham get selected for that Super League? And
Must have
Because
run
somebody felt
can I say
sorry
as well,
for
they got beat today by Wolves 4-2. How was Postecoglou still got a job? I don't get it.
because he's rebuilding a team. Remember?
I think it's so because Expressions is paying him, so he gets top-notch content
Well,
out of it.
Expressions must be skint.
Oh, did you see his
Snap.
one?
He's got the same shirt on. Snap.
He was
And
brilliant.
it's got his name on it.
He was brilliant today.
Nice.
That man is a comic genius for a Spurs fan.
we still haven't answered the question. Like, what benefit is there to any of these clubs winning the championship? What? But why? Like you have. Like you've got.
Isn't the prize fund really
It's all about the money, Brian. It's all about the money.
But they're not. But where are they getting that money? Like the Champions League has its prize fund, right? And if Madrid wins the Champions League or somebody like that, they're not taking money from the Super League. Like it's only coming from UEFA.
There's definitely something there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go and watch it. I haven't seen it, but I mean, you've got to think the eventual winner this year is going to get close to 150 million euros for winning.
So but let's say Arsenal win that competition, guys, right? How much of that 150 million is going to go on players?
Don't know. Don't think it'll be 150 million. No one does that in business.
That's it.
You go, Declan.
Well, I'll talk to my dad and make sure that we spend a lot of money on it.
God, good call. Good call, Cronky.
Yeah, good call, Cronky. Get in. Can I move it on, Seema? Is that right?
Yes, please do.
Right, we talked about before, and I want to bring this up. The factors of why Arsenal haven't won the Premier League. Yeah. And we said there's quite a few factors, but we touched on injuries as the one main one.
Okay.
And I made a point that there's only been 2 players out the first 11 this season who haven't been injured. Yeah. Yeah. And we worked out it was Trossard and who was the other one? I'm having a brain melt.
No, not MLS.
No.
Saliba.
I was gonna say Saliba.
I had a brain melt there. 2 players out of the main 11. Forget all subs and everything else, right?
Yeah.
2 players out of the main 11 that haven't had injuries this season, and so that's a big factor why we haven't won the Premier League.
Yeah.
So we've gotten fucked by the refs too.
The ref, yeah.
I thought Daniel would come in there for a second.
I'm not. I mean, the Saliba one against Bournemouth was a red. You can't argue about that.
I can, Richard. I can argue about that.
Oh, here we go. Go on, do it.
I can argue about that because for me, right? For me personally, I think it was particularly harsh, especially for the Bournemouth one. We consider barring he wasn't the last man, so and there's no guarantee that there was no guarantee that he was gonna score anyway. So and the fact of the matter was that if you actually watch the footage, Gabriel and Gabriel and I think it was Miles Lewis-Skelly at the time, correct me if I'm wrong there, right, would have easily gone back to defend that ball anyway. So
no, it was White and was, but what I'm saying is, but your consistencies, because Van der Ven should have been sent off for exactly the same offence. There was one against Saka last year, Villa, Conte, I believe, should have been sent off. But it was you can argue about the Trossard and Royce one, but we knew that kicking a ball away and time wasting was punishable by yellow cards.
Yeah,
and already being on the
Richard,
card.
Richard, if that's the case, then why didn't Doku not get a yellow card then?
I agree. But
What color was his kit?
That's a standard.
What color was his kit?
The inconsistencies and the incompetence.
What color was his kit, Max?
Blue.
And there you go.
Can I just say as well, apologise to Mark, I've just put him on a timeout by mistake.
Now, I know he's small, but he's not that small.
Dear.
Brian's dad is a...
Yeah, that's why I put him on a timeout, I think. I'm not even going to show that one on the screen, to be honest.
Okay, so tell me something, right? Vinay Venkateshwar.
Do you want to say that in English, please?
CEO. He was Arsenal CEO, is now chief executive at Spurs.
Oh, so he's become the new Sol Campbell. Okay.
Huh?
He's become the new Sol Campbell.
Really?
So
yeah, but he's not getting the double.
i.e. going from Arsenal to Tottenham or Tottenham to Arsenal. Yeah?
Yeah.
But what did you
Well, that's what I'm going to say. He didn't do anything for our club, did he? So what's he going to do for Tottenham?
Well,
they're still going to be in the same. Still going to be in the same situation they're in now. Their picture isn't going to change with him involved. You know, their future isn't going to change with him involved. So
Do you know the thing? Do you know that I was saying this the other day, Des? Right? I think Tottenham is so desperate to be us that they're signing our players, they're signing our coaches, they're signing our executives, right? And literally every time Arsenal play, they're always talking about us, right? They're always talking about our players, they're always talking about our manager, they're always talking about our coaching staff, they're talking about set piece coach. Like literally, like Tottenham are so obsessed with that they're signing all of our players and all of our staff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the Vinay one was more to take the heat off Levy, wasn't it?
Okay.
And you can even go with Spurs, even going back to the George Graham days. They end up signing our manager.
Well, here's a hot take though, right? Here's a hot take though. If we did not have Arteta, I wouldn't mind having Big Ange. Because if you look at where he's had success,
where's the button? Where's that button gone?
Wow, I'm gonna get banned for that shit. Woo. No, if you look at him in Celtic, like the reason he was successful at Celtic is because he had the best team in the league, right? But his tactics, like if he has the players to execute what he needs, he's successful.
The players don't want to play for him, Brian.
Huh?
The Tottenham players don't want to play for him.
It's because the Tottenham players don't want to play for anybody.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
They play for Tottenham.
He's lost the dressing room, Seema.
I don't know. He's got the young ones there, and they're pretty okay. They've been given the opportunity because he's had no choice.
Well, there's got to be something wrong somewhere.
I like him. I like Ange because I think he's so charismatic with the media that he does everything in such a polite manner, but in a really harsh way.
You see, I don't think he's.
Yeah, me too.
In a very harsh way, a polite manner in a harsh way.
He doesn't like the fans either. He doesn't like the fans to criticise.
Yeah, but who would? Why would you
as soon as he says,
would you stand up for somebody who's criticising your team?
So hold on. No, fair enough. All right. And I don't really want to get aggressive on you like Max has on everybody else tonight, right?
Go for it.
Right. Okay. How many games have Tottenham lost this season?
Pretty much a lot.
17 games. If Arsenal lost 17 games, right, we'd be losing.
Arteta.
Yeah, they probably would.
Even Ipswich haven't lost that many.
17
they're relegated.
games, right?
Yeah.
If Arsenal lost 17 games, we would be losing it. Yeah. So, no, in that instance, I believe the fans have a right to have a say. Yeah. It don't matter how charismatic he is. It's just who we are, mate. You know, it doesn't matter. He's got little slogans. He's got memes. No, to me, you lose 17 matches, you're gone.
Des.
Hello.
As an fellow Australian, he's clueless. He's absolutely 100% clueless.
There's my point.
And he thinks staying makes it all right.
And the thing is, yeah, right. You see, the thing is, right. I've watched Ange Postecoglou, right, when he was the manager at Brisbane Roar, when he was the manager for the Australian national team, when he was the manager at Celtic, right, and then when he went from Celtic to Spurs, I knew he would fail, right, because he's tactically clueless, and he doesn't. And he actually came out in an interview and said, "I don't want a set piece coach," even though that their set pieces are a main problem.
So here's another thing I want to throw at it as well, Seema. Yeah. Celtic made him look good. Celtic made him look much better than he actually is.
And to be fair, Des, the Scottish League isn't a competitive league, with all due respect. I could go to Celtic.
Do well at Bayern Munich.
I could go to Celtic and win the league.
Yeah, and this is my point. I think in a league like Germany, where there's only two teams in it, Scotland, there's only 2 teams. I don't know much about the Australian league, but I imagine was it the Brisbane team that he managed? There's not many. It's not that competitive. There's only 2 or 3 teams in it. So
no, Richard, in the A League, there's currently 8 teams, right? There's currently 8 teams in the A League, right? 8, right?
Yeah.
And we only played 28 games a season. So,
right,
you know, like.
Shall we? Sorry, go on, Max. Just finish quickly, and then we're going to move on because this is not the Spurs show.
There's 8 teams in the A League,
and we're talking about Real Madrid next.
There's 8 teams in the A League, and you only play 28 games a season, right? And with all due respect to the A League, it's not the Premier League, right? It would be the equivalent for the third tier of the English football.
Okay, Brian, are you cooking, by the way?
Cooking, getting cooked, whatever.
Oh, sorry, it's not the cooking show. Can we talk about
I'm going to say one more thing about Ange, just to finish, right?
Go on then, quick. Make it quick, because Paul's getting annoyed.
He's the Mike Bassett of the Premier League.
What?
He's the Mike Bassett of the Premier League.
Oh, Mike Bassett was a little bit good looking at least.
Oh, gosh. Okay, let's go. Wednesday, Real Madrid. Roll on, rock on, whatever you want to do. Come on, guys. How do we feel about it? I feel happy that at least we know that Mbappe got sent off, even though he'll still be playing. But anyway.
38 minutes today, he got sent off. Shame it wasn't an injury.
Exactly. Yep, that too. Richard.
Excited. I mean, you've got to say that Courtois kept them with having a chance in the tie, because at 4 the game's over. 3 they can score 3 at the Bernabéu. They've averaged 3 goals in the Champions League at the Bernabéu, but we've got to be professional and do the job. We've got to go and score. We can't sit back and soak up pressure for 90 minutes because they will batter us. So we have to go there with the right game plan, the right mindset, and
get
execute.
That first goal in, right?
Well, get a goal in. It doesn't have to be the first goal. It just has to be a goal, and we just have to get past Courtois once.
Right. I mean, go on, Des.
I was just going to say, and their goal scorer today was Camavinga, and he's not even going to be on the pitch.
What's in our favour?
Yeah,
Brian?
I'm not scared at all. I am not scared at all. Like do I think we're going to go in there and win? No, probably not. But do I think we're going to score a goal? Yes. Like, am I excited to watch? Yes. Do I think we're going to go through? Yes. Plain and simple.
See, in the North Bank, looking ahead to Real Madrid on Wednesday, how should Arteta set us up at the Bernabéu? Go on, Max. Have your say.
Look, for me, it should be it should be exactly the same way that we set up in a home leg.
Yeah.
And as I'm with Brian on this one, right? I'm not scared. I'm not scared of Real Madrid, at all in any shape or way or form at all, right? And honestly, I predicted 2-0 before I predicted 2-0 in this leg, right? I don't think we'll concede a goal. They're fucking awful, right? And I'll give you even a better one, right? I reckon we'll beat PSG and Barcelona to the final, and we'll win the Champions League.
The Australian rage is on it
I
tonight.
love the positivity. I love that. Okay, go on, Des.
Right. Okay. Right. Let's put it this way, right? We have got a major advantage going into this leg, right? But I still feel, and I agree with BX Gunner here. Just 1 second. We need to score an early goal or a goal just to cement it.
Yeah.
But yeah, we could sit back and just go, oh well, we're 3-0 up. It's a guarantee. Nothing's guaranteed in football, especially at the Bernabéu, especially Real Madrid. Put out the strongest team we've got under the circumstances. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. Put out the strongest team we've got under the circumstances. Go ahead, Brian.
Put 10 dudes just this side of the 6-yard box. Put Raya right in the middle and sit there for 90 minutes. I will not give a fuck.
I mean, even though in the North Bank seriously think that the first 25 is the most important period of the tie now, I reckon the first 15 to 20.
You've got to play the game in stages. First 15, 20, they will come hammer and tongs. The game will settle down for a bit. Then the last 10, 15 of the first half, first 15 of the second, it will settle down again. And then the last 10, 15 of the second half, they will go hammer and tongs.
You've got to remember as well, Seema, right?
Yeah.
The first leg, we scored 3 goals in 17 minutes.
Yeah.
So if we can score 3 goals in 17, I'm not saying they will, but if we can score 3 goals in 17 minutes, they can score 3 goals in 17.
Yeah, but don't forget, the likes of Bellingham are really fired up. I mean, have you heard the stories about what they were saying in the changing rooms? You know, we got this. When we get to the Bernabéu, it's our hood. You know, it's our turf. So expect
with all due respect,
too much, and anything less than that is a bonus for us.
Yes, with all due respect, we aren't conceding 3 goals at the Bernabéu. I'm sorry, we're not.
No, I'm just saying. No, it's a comparison, Max. Again, I agree. We won't. And I want to add something else as well. Okay, Ancelotti the other night looked a beaten man.
Yeah,
that's what I thought.
The team looked beaten, didn't they? They all looked beaten.
Yeah, they all were. I mean, their attitude, they couldn't even shake hands at the end. I mean, it took a lot for Jude Bellingham to say, thanks, Rice. Yeah, you play in the bloody England squad with him.
Fair play, though. He was fair in his comments, Seema.
What was fair? Tell me what was fair.
I just thought he gave us credit where credit was due, and not many players really.
That literally, he was struggling to take out of his mouth.
Well, maybe so, but at least he did say it. At least it got said,
Yeah, that's because he had to. Otherwise, he'd be the devil in disguise, wouldn't he? He could go back to Madrid and then make those comments, and I bet you he'd be put as a hero.
Emerson here interests me. He's gone for Raya, Timber, Saliba, Kivior, Tierney, Party, Rice, Jorginho if he's fit. I guarantee you now, Emerson, he's either got cracked or broken ribs the way he landed. Okay. If he's fit. Odegaard, Ethan, Trossard, and Mourinho.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do any of you guys want to flip that around?
I don't think I'd like Jorginho in there, but
I don't think he'll be playing.
I think Party, Royce, Odegaard in the middle of midfield is the way to go. I think, though I like Tierney, you probably just keep Timber, Saliba, Kivior, and Miles Lewis-Skelly. The only change there would be if Calafiori or Ben White were fit, and you might drop them being the Bernabéu. But that's it. And then you'd have Saka, Martinelli, and Marino up front.
This may be contentious, but I'm really, really pleased for Kivior.
Yeah, definitely.
In the first leg, he played really, really well.
Yeah.
Let's hope he can do it in the second leg.
Yeah, I think he's really
going forward.
He's really stepped up, taking his place. Sorry, Richard.
Yeah, I said he's a decent player. He's an international. It's just that when you're going to going to there, you're wanting your best team out there, and he's a decent bench player, and he's decent squad player for us.
Yeah.
But you ideally you're wanting a white out there. You'd rather have Gabriel, but if you wouldn't mind putting White out there if you had to, or Calafiori in his place. But
So
I agree with Paul saying control the game, play the game how we want it played, and not how they want. So basically, like what we did at home,
play the game, not the atmosphere.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
But one other question about Emerson's lineup.
Yeah.
Trossard over Martinelli.
Well, he could always switch it after, couldn't he? He can just.
Well,
So
I'll just bring it back up so I'll make sure I'm not getting this wrong. He definitely didn't put Martinelli in, did he? No, he didn't.
No,
he didn't. No.
So Trossard over Martinelli.
Yeah.
They're both off form, so I suppose one or the other. I suppose it's a coin toss, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, but
the only reason I go for Martinelli is because at some point Real Madrid are going to have to open up and really go hammer and tongs for it.
The thing is,
and also they're playing Lucas Vázquez, and they're also playing Lucas Vázquez as a right back, and he's awful.
Okay.
Yeah, and
again, I don't know if I would want. Yeah, I would prefer MLS over Tierney. It sounds really bad, but I would prefer it that way. I agree with you.
I would start with MLS. I would start.
Tierney's a better defender, and playing in Madrid, like they're going to be out for blood. They know they have to score at least 4 goals to get through. We need somebody who's a lockdown defender, and MLS isn't that yet. We know Tierney is.
Yeah.
I again, Brad, I would have to respectfully disagree. Because Miles Lewis Kelly literally locked up Rodrigo. So and every time he's played this season, every time he's played this season, not a single fullback's gone past him.
But I guess I'm looking at it as worst case scenario. We know Tierney will lock people up.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be looking at the worst case scenario. Should we look at the best case scenario?
No, we should absolutely be looking at worst case scenario. We should absolutely be looking at worst case scenario because there's magic to the Bernabéu. Everybody knows that. So you bring your lockdown team. Simple as that.
And the thing is as well, what you got to remember as well, guys. Again, I don't want to be like, but I'm going to be. Arsenal won't have their 12th man at the Bernabéu. There will be fans there, but they won't be able to sing as loud as they did the other night.
Yeah.
That's going to make a difference. That is going to make a difference.
Oh yeah, but it's how we shouldn't be. As I said, we shouldn't be.
Wow.
We shouldn't be playing to the situation or the atmosphere. We've got to play the game.
You absolutely play to the atmosphere. That's why home field advantage is a home field advantage. Like if you're not playing to the atmosphere, then fuck it. Play it in the high school right by my house.
Well, it's like again, you've got to break down the players that played on the other night. Alaba was absolutely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed by Saka. Yeah. Alaba gave up at half time. Camavinga's not going to be there because he kicked the ball away, but he wouldn't have been there anyway because of 2 yellow cards.
Yeah.
In the second half, I don't remember Mbappe, Vinicius Jr. or the other fella being mentioned in the second half.
Rodrigo,
thank you very much. I don't remember them being mentioned in the second half, and if it was, it might have been once.
Or Jude Bellingham, for that matter.
Yeah, Jude Bellingham was just... Where was he?
And that's because we dominated the midfield.
Right, guys, before we finish, because we've got 5.5 minutes left, I would like your score predictions, please, and also those in the chat, because I've got your names down. Des.
What was the question? Sorry.
Wednesday,
score predictions.
I was reading something then, I apologise. Score predictions for Wednesday.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1. Okay. Brian.
2-1 Madrid, we go through.
2-1.
2-1 Madrid, we go through.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
We're at the Bernabéu.
2-0.
Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Richard.
I'm going for a 2-2.
2-2. Paul, in the North Bank. Let's have yours, please. Mark, can I have yours? Emerson, 1-1. Are they going to answer? BX Gunner, would you like to give your prediction?
He's gone 2-1.
Oh, there he goes, 2-1.
2-1.
2-1. Madrid. Okay. I'm going to go 2-0 Arsenal.
Come on, Seema.
Mark, 2-1 Arsenal. Okay. And just in the North Bank, please, can we have your prediction?
He can't, mate. He's on his way to Spain. He's probably not able to.
He's out in the wind.
He's had too much sangria already.
He's holding on to his. He's holding on to his
3-2 Arsenal.
He's holding on to his phone with one arm and flapping his other arm to get him across the water, like, you know.
And then he's got a drink on the way.
Paul's gone 3-2 Arsenal.
I know. Wow, that's going to be a lot of goals going on in the Bernabéu.
Yeah, Paul, just remember, this game is actually an away game. Don't go to the Emirates this week.
Yes. Take the train to the airport.
Yeah.
To the airport. Okay.
Yeah. In Madrid, Paul.
To Madrid. That flight to Madrid, please.
And not Atletico.
Yeah.
We love you, Paul. We love you.
Yeah. Would anyone else like to say anything before we wrap this up? We've got literally 3 minutes.
Can I just say it's been a great show. I've enjoyed being on here with you guys. Max, just bring it every time, mate. It's funny. I love it. Brian,
Love it.
don't ever change, apart from your sunglasses. Richard, I beat you with stats tonight, by the way. I just want to say I beat you with stats, which is rare.
I mind getting beaten occasionally.
Seema, it's always a pleasure to host with you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your input tonight, guys. And over back to you.
No, thank you so much for a great show. I hadn't prepared for it, but you guys step in every time. And I love the banter. And I'm so glad Mark wasn't on the show because it was such a great show.
Wasn't it peaceful apart from Max's outburst? It was peaceful apart from Max's outburst, wasn't it?
But that was a brilliant outburst too, right?
Yeah.
To be fair, Mark is now my burner account, and I've channeled the inner Scotsman into an inner Australian now. So
thanks BX Gunner. Thank you for being in the chat, mate.
Thank you, Emerson, as well. Thank you, Miss. Sorry, I forgot the name now.
Miss Alina, wasn't it? Miss Melina.
Yeah, thank you for being in there, and everybody else who's watching us.
Seema, and also I've got to now start wearing glasses and sitting a bit shorter because Mark's much shorter now.
You're bringing in the double bromance. God, I'm going to feel left out. Where is she?
How is it that a small, ugly Scotsman has got a bromance with two fellas?
And that too, on both ends of the world.
Yeah.
I've got two of these you can borrow.
They're not even on his doorstep. Do you know what I mean?
Oh God, Brian!
There you are. Hey, look at this. Mark. There you are praising Mark. Great show, guys. Pity about this shit Aussie crap Brian spoke.
I'm a fly over there, Mark. I'm a fly over there, and we're gonna have some talks.
I think the love bromance is starting to fall apart, Seema.
I know, right? It's time to wrap it up then.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, but Brian, me and you have to have a bromance because I'm doing the Mark thing now.
Oh, we do. Yeah, Mark, I'm gonna start cheating on you, man.
Guys, thank you so much. I hope you all enjoy your watch along, and I hope you all enjoy Wednesday's game. And bring the noise. No matter we're not in Madrid, we're not in the stadium. We know that Paul's going to really shout it out for us too. So everyone, please enjoy the game. Be safe and come on, you Gunners. We've got this. Champions League's ours this season.
Can I just say as well before you close it totally?
Yeah.
Me and Richard are doing a watch along on Wednesday. So if you want to join us for that, guys, you're more than welcome. Join us in the chat. Give us your comments. And obviously, guys, if you can join us in the show, we'd appreciate it. If not, let's have a great game. Over to you, Seema, to close it.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much. Come on, you Gunners.